I'm Michaela Ramsey.
I'm Mari Carmel. Welcome to your Kings Cast.
The Kings are working hard this winter in all of their sports. Let's head over to Hannah and Hayden for Athlete of the Week.
Hi, I'm Hayden.
I'm Hannah.
And we're here with our Athlete of the Week.
Bryce Risch. All right, Bryce, we have a couple questions for you. When did you first start wrestling?
First started wrestling in 3rd grade when they had a camp call-out, and I've just been wrestling ever since then.
How far do you plan on making it in the tournament this year?
I plan on making it to regionals, and if I can win a couple rounds in regionals, I can make it to semi-state, so that'd be my goal.
Do you have any wrestling idols?
I'd have to say Drake Hall. He really pushed me my freshman year and sophomore year, and he really made me become the wrestler that I am today. And if it weren't for him, I don't think I'd be here right now.
So, did WWE inspire you to wrestle?
Not at all.
What's your favorite move?
By far the crossface butcher. That's the move my brother was really good at, and he taught me. And so I believe I'm pretty good at that now.
Okay, do you use it on your girlfriend?
I don't have a girlfriend.
All right. Now, I think you should show me some of these moves since you're 5-0. I think I can take you down.
Do you think you can take me down?
Yeah.
Oh no, off the Brandon and Drew was swimming.
Gosh, I hope Hayden's okay. This past Saturday, the boys had the Maconaquah invite. The boys placed 3rd out of 4 with 59 points. John Boucher got 1st place in the 50 and the 100 free, and Cole Jelly placed 2nd in the 500. This past Tuesday, the Kings took on the Carroll Cougars. The boys team won with a score of 119-50. Boucher and Jolly were quadruple winners. How are the girls doing?
Well, the Queenfish defeated the Cougars on Tuesday 123-54, and every event was won except for diving by the Queenfish. The quadruple winners were Mari Carmel, Hannah Young, and Paige Butner. They were swimming off events, and they still swept the 500 and 200-yard freestyle. And Monday, Whitney and the Kingfish and Queenfish have a meet against Western. Now back to Gabe and Maddie for varsity basketball.
Thank you, Drew and Brandon. I'm Maddie Hoff.
And I'm Gabe Urick.
And this is your weekly coverage of basketball. First off with the Lady Kings. Last week, the Lady Kings took a road trip to the infamous Berry Bowl where they competed against the Casting Commons, claiming their first win of the season. Last Saturday, they traveled back to the Berry Bowl for the county title against Logansport. Unfortunately, they fell to the Lady Berries with a final score of 85-55. Abra Humerick led the Lady Kings with the score of 22 points. Congratulations to Maya and Abra as they were considered on the All-Star team. On Monday evening, they hosted Peru and beat the Lady Tigers with a score of 45-42. Humerick once again led the Lady Kings with 20 points. The team will travel to Maconaquah this Saturday. Be sure to support your athletes.
The boys basketball team is coming off of a hard-fought battle against the Logansport Berries. The Kings fell apart in the 4th quarter and lost 46-62, but competed and played with the 4A school. They look forward to seeing them again in the county tournament. Tonight, Cass will host Hamilton Heights for the first conference matchup of the season and turn around and travel to Carroll tomorrow to face the Cougars. Come out and support the Kings. Now back to Hayden and Hannah with wrestling.
Oh my gosh, Hayden, you're walking!
Yeah, I'm back. It turns out Bryce broke my back. But luckily I was sponsored by Powerade for my recovery.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Enough for wrestling. The wrestling team had their first meet of the year last Saturday at the Maconaquah Invitational. The Kings placed 3rd as a team out of 8 teams total. Noah Miller and Bryce Risch were 5-0 on the day and were the only members on the Kings to go undefeated. The Kings, the team scores for the night were as following. Cass defeated Tipton 45-30. They lost to Maconaquah 30-48. They defeated North Miami 63-15. They defeated Tippy Valley 51-30. And they defeated Whitco 71-3.
Back to you, Mari and Michaela.
Glad to see that sports are working hard and getting good results.
Did you know that peanut butter is a great source of protein for athletes?
I did, actually. What's your favorite type of peanut butter?
I like crunchy peanut butter.
I do too. Let's head to Brooke Nelson and Carl J to see what kind of they like.
Thank you, Mari and Michaela. All right, so today I will be the mediator of the debate of the year. Peanut butter, crunchy or smooth? On this side, I have Carl J, who is quite the crunchy enthusiast. And on this side, I have Brooklyn Nelson, who is a smooth peanut butter lover. To start off, I'm going to ask the question, why do you like your variation of peanut butter the most? Brooklyn, start us off.
Well, the first issue is the texture. I don't like having crunch in my peanut butter because peanut butter is supposed to be smooth. And second, it's easier to spread on bread and toast.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Brooklyn, because bread, of course, is a porous substance, and, it's so much easier with the crunch to just fill in the pores, so when you go, it just smooths right over, all right? Clumps up, you get more, it's great because then you have pockets to fill jelly in when you're making your peanut butter and jelly. And also, crunchy peanut butter doesn't get stuck to the roof of your mouth when you're eating it off the spoon, which is so much better than smooth.
If it's still peanut butter, then it'd still get stuck to the top of your mouth, whether
But it's
it has
crunchy.
peanuts in it or not.
But it's crunchy.
Okay.
It doesn't get stuck to the top of your mouth because it's heavier. It's not smoothing.
Texture issue.
3 things in a sandwich, all right? Crunch, jelly, and toast, all right? That's what you got to have. With the smooth peanut butter, you don't get that. You don't get any crunch. That's what you got to have.
I don't want crunch.
Well, you're wrong.
All right, and that was our debate. And if you were interested in putting your input in this, you can check out the King's Courier and put your input in our poll. Thank you, Mari and Michaela. Back to you.
I can't really tell who won that debate.
Yeah, I can't either. Everyone has different opinions, but I still think crunchy peanut butter is the best.
Well, on the topic of food, did you know that they make raspberry hot chocolate?
Sounds interesting. Olivia brought several different kinds of hot chocolate for a taste testing game with our professional taste testers, Drew and Mac. Let's go check it out.
I'm Olivia.
This is Drew.
And this is Mac.
Okay, so today we're going to be taste testing hot chocolate, and Mac and Drew have to guess which flavor is in each of the cups. So I'm going to hold the actual flavor above their heads on a sign, so you guys can get started and start with the cup to your far left.
Can we look behind us? Peppermint.
Raspberry.
Yep, Mac, you got that one right. Okay, next cup.
Peppermint.
Pumpkin.
Yes.
I'm gonna get one of these.
Okay, next one.
Oh. Coconut?
Oh no, chocolate.
This one tastes really bad.
Okay.
Did you add something to that one?
No, do you have any more guesses?
Almond?
No?
There's no flavoring in it?
Yeah, there's flavoring in it.
I was gonna guess coconut next.
It did taste like coconut.
Okay, well, it was s'more, so.
No.
Okay. All right,
Close
so
enough.
your last one.
Peppermint.
Spearmint.
It's some kind of mint.
Yeah, it was just mint. Okay, well, back to Mari and Michaela.
Well, I'm glad they were test tasting those and not us.
Me too. Those guys never fail to entertain me.
Well, this week's POP is from Caleb Llewellyn and Hannah Young, and it's also very intriguing. Let's check it out.
I'm Hannah Young.
And I'm Caleb Llewellyn.
And this is our Project of Passion. For my Project of Passion, I researched serial killers. My 3 driving questions were, what childhood effects can create a serial killer? Who is the most infamous serial killer? And why do serial killers not feel guilty after hurting someone? During this project, I discovered that there are many childhood effects that can make a serial killer, including arson, hurting animals while the child is still young, and any type of abuse during their childhood. Serial killers do not feel guilty because they are mainly neglected by their parents or other adults during their childhood. A chromosome does not develop in their frontal lobe, which deals with decision-making, the differences between right and wrong, and social behavior. These are all problems for a serial killer. The most infamous serial killer, in my opinion, is a Zodiac killer, because the Zodiac killer shot 6 people point blank and was never caught. He also sent letters to the police which contained his own sort of language, which were never decoded.
I did my Project of Passion over the tendencies of the human mind. A big part of my presentation was how our mind affects our body language and the effects on our everyday life. Initially, I was wondering if you could change your natural behavior and get out of those little everyday tendencies that you go through without thinking about it. My conclusions were as follows. You cannot break from your normal everyday tendencies. Even though you might try to, you can't really break from those little things that you do every day without thinking about it. Another one of my questions was, can you control somebody's body language? Well, I have a demonstration to answer that question. Okay, so for my demonstration on how you can control somebody's body language, I'm going to show 2 different interviews. And so I brought Mari here, and Mari's going to do it. Mari, you have no idea what you're really supposed to be doing here, right?
No idea.
So in this interview, I'm going to be interviewing her as if she's wanting a job at my company. So we're going to go through these 2 interviews, and I'll explain at the end, okay?
Okay.
All right, so hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right, so we're a pretty serious company. I like to think that we take everything really seriously, and we're really looking for somebody to fill this position really well. What do you think that you can provide for us here at the company?
I think I can bring a lot of creativity to the company, and I think that I can, maybe come up with some new ideas on how to make things more efficient and that kind of thing.
Okay, cool. Okay, so that was our first interview. Okay, so second scenario. This is an entirely different interview, like an entirely different day. Okay, so hi, I'm Caleb. How are you?
Hi.
Doing really good? Okay. So relax. This isn't anything too seriously. We're just trying to get to know you, because we're just trying to fill this position. We're really trying to get a feel for what you're like. Tell me some stuff about yourself.
Well, I come from Galveston, Indiana, and I went to DePaul University, and I love to swim, and I love to, I speak Spanish,
Okay, cool. Now this is kind of an unorthodox question. If you could be any superhero, what do you think you'd be?
I would probably be maybe Iron Man, because he's really smart.
Cool. Okay, so some things you may not have noticed in those 2 different presentations. First one, we came in, and I shook her hand. She shook my hand strong back. We sat down. She mimicked my body language, which shows me that she's comfortable in the situation. She sat like this, held her hands together.
Okay.
She did that subconsciously. And then second interview, within the first interview, she answered strongly and gave good answers. Second interview, she came in, shook her hand. As soon as I shook her hand, I put my hand on her arm, and her grip immediately loosened, which shows me she's comfortable in the situation. So then we sat down, and I sat more open, and so did she. She sat open and answered her questions more happily and smiled more and really thought about what she was saying and gave me some real good things about herself. So yes, you can control people's body language.
Wow, you guys really killed that presentation.
It looks like that's the end of our broadcast. Tune in next week for a special Christmas edition.
And make sure to watch for an interview with Santa, best Christmas movies, and other fun Christmas activities. I'm Michaela.
And I'm Mari.
Thanks for tuning in to the King's Cast.